Here is my 2017 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Here is my 6.9-inch Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And here is my 2011 3.5-inch iPhone 4S. As you can see, this iPhone is ridiculously tiny. Holding a phone has never given me as much anxiety as this one, knowing that it could slip out of my hand in one moment and end up in pieces the next. Is that going to stop me from doing what I'm about to do in this video? Absolutely not, and you're about to see why this tiny iPhone might still be worth holding onto even today. In terms of specs, this 2011 iPhone 4S houses Apple's A5 chip with 512 megabytes of RAM. The display has a resolution of 960 by 640 running at 60 Hz, which honestly looks pretty decent at this screen size, with text looking plenty sharp enough. The device I have also comes with 16 GB of storage, and could be configured up to 64 GB, which I wish I had here, but 16 GB will be plenty for what we'll be using it for today. In terms of software, the 4S shipped with iOS 5 and got its last update in 2019 to iOS 9.3.6. iOS 9 is honestly a disaster for devices with the A5 SoC, with it being basically unusable due to how slow it ran. Luckily, a couple years ago, there was a brief period where you could downgrade to iOS 6.1.3, which I was able to take advantage of and is the version you see running on this iPhone. So what can you do with iOS 6? Honestly, not much if you leave it at stock. You won't be able to download apps from the App Store or use any Apple services, as the servers have shut down for iOS 6 about 2 to 3 years ago. Basically, anything that needs a server connection to Apple won't work, but anything that works offline should still be fully functional. You can probably turn it into an iPod and use it to listen to music, which I've tried and actually like quite a lot. Some little features here and there makes listening to music on this iPhone pretty interesting. For example, CoverFlow is probably the best thing about the iOS 6 music player, where turning the phone horizontally will show you a stack of every album you own. When you are in the player, if you look very closely, you will also notice that the volume and seek bar knobs shimmer when tilting the iPhone ever so slightly. Pretty cool. Other than as a music player, you can also maybe use it to take some photos or videos and play with the pre-installed apps a bit. But there's really not much else you can do with the phone besides that, at least with the stock iOS software. If you want to do more than listen to music and take pictures, this is where jailbreaking comes in. Jailbreaking basically allows full access to the iPhone's root file system, which allows you to install fun tweaks and sideload apps you can no longer download on the App Store. For example, I was able to install a fun tweak called Barrel, which adds a cool transition effect whenever I swipe on the home screen. There are a bunch of other cool tweaks like these that you can install onto your jailbroken iOS device, like Speed Intensifier, which allows you to speed up the stock iOS animations, and Zeppelin, which allows you to add a custom carrier text or logo. I would have loved to show you more tweaks, but it's been a while since I jailbroke this iPhone, and 2 error messages appearing in Cydia prevent me from installing any new tweaks. For my research, apparently this has to do with the 2 corrupt tar files, which I can only fix by either factory resetting the iPhone or restoring the 2 files from another jailbroken iOS 6 device. I'm not sure where to find these tar files, as I do not have another iOS 6 device, and I'd rather not have to restore this iPhone if possible, so if anyone has a solution to this issue, do let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. Despite tweaks not being able to install, fortunately there is still more I can do with this iPhone. The best part of jailbreaking this iOS device is the ability to sideload apps permanently. Those who have sideloaded Beta Sonolus or Astro DX onto their iOS devices know how painful the process can be. So being able to just drag an IPA file and have it install immediately is honestly a huge breath of fresh air. That said, what apps can you install on here? Well, thanks to a community post I made a couple weeks back, I was able to install some fun rhythm games that I will be trying out in this video. A lot of you recommended MikuFlick, along with a bunch of other old classics, such as the first and second Taiko no Tatsujin games, DEEMO, Cytus, and Groove Coaster. Some of these games are incredibly rare as you aren't able to find them on the App Store anymore. This is because Apple dropped support for 32-bit applications with iOS 11, so apps like the 2 MikuFlick games that were not updated as 64-bit applications are no longer playable on modern iOS devices. So the only way to play these games is if you have an old iOS device around that you can install these applications on, which I do have here. We'll be walking through all of these games and seeing what this iPhone is still capable of today, starting with MikuFlick. MikuFlick is a rhythm game that teaches you how to use the 9-key Japanese keypad. The game will bold some kana characters from a song's lyrics, which you will have to register by tapping or swiping on the keypad to the beat. The game guides you by showing you where the hiragana on the keypad is. So for example, if the bolded kana in the lyrics is one displayed on the keypad, a circle will highlight that key on the keypad, indicating a tap. And if the bolded kana is not one displayed on the keypad, an arrow will be displayed on the key with that kana, indicating a swipe in that direction. You can also turn it off for added difficulty, or if you know your way around the 9-key layout. There is a pretty small collection of songs on here, but the song list seems to expand the more songs you play. I haven't gotten through the entire list yet, but an online search seems to suggest that there are 13 songs in total for this game. I hope to get through it all at some point. Next up is MikuFlick 2. MikuFlick 2 is the second game in this series, and this version brings with it more songs, an extreme difficulty mode, and a new tap mechanic. Other than that, the gameplay is more or less similar to the first MikuFlick, so there isn't too much more to go over here. There were multiple DLCs released from 2012 to 2014 that added 64 more songs to the game, but since I do not have access to those DLCs, the base game will only have 10 songs. I hope I can find a way to try all those 64 songs at some point, and I'm curious what the extreme difficulty charts will be like for those. Unfortunately, to get through the other rhythm games on this iPhone, I will have to keep it short and move on, but if you are interested in a deeper dive for any of these games I'm going through today, do let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me, and I greatly appreciate it. Moving on, the next two games are the two series of Taiko no Tatsujin. Taiko no Tatsujin is pretty straightforward, where hitting the drum will register the red center notes, and hitting outside of the drum will register the blue rim notes. The more I played this game, the more I realized how much more touch and audio latency there is on this device. I feel like I needed to be pretty particular with my taps, as even the slightest gap would register as a worse judgment. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be any adjustable offset settings, so to get better at this game, I will have to adjust myself to the latency this device has. The song selection in both games seemed to be pretty limited, but despite that, I still enjoyed some of the songs they decided to put in. The next game is DEEMO. In terms of gameplay, this is probably the closest we're going to get to Project Sekai on this iPhone, considering the style of rhythm game this is. The notes in this game do scroll differently from Project Sekai though, so I actually found it pretty tricky to do well in this game. When playing on any of the hard difficulties, I would often miss a lot of notes. I think this is a skill issue more than a device issue, so I might download this game on a more modern device and practice the charts in this game before coming back to this iPhone. Maybe I'll aim for a hard difficulty full combo in a future video. The next game is Cytus. This game is probably the most unique gameplay-wise, where notes appear all over the screen and you have to interact with them as the notes reach the scan line. I often found myself obstructing the notes with my giant hands, so I may have to practice the hard charts a few times to memorize the note positions. The last game we are going to try out is Groove Coaster, where you tap or hold the screen as your avatar approaches the notes. This game, while quite minimal, was actually pretty fun. The gameplay is very dynamic with how the notes appear, and the animations do a lot to add depth to the gameplay experience. I still have a lot more songs to unlock, but I'll be looking forward to that and all the various skins I can unlock for my avatar. I wish I could go over these games longer and unlock more charts, but I think that's a lot of content to pack into one video, so that'll do for today. If there is a takeaway to be had here, it's that keeping an old iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch around might still be worth it, as you can still play some pretty fun games that you might not be able to play on newer devices. I hope you enjoyed exploring this iPhone 4S with me today. As mentioned earlier, if you would like a deeper dive into any of these games, or want me to make a guide on how to jailbreak and install some of these games on your own iOS device, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as I usually say, if you learned something today, do leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time.